I have like maybe 5 or 6 featured films here on our Google Doc. But let's not bury the lead out of respect to Eric Holmes and most people out there in the universe who watches movies. We're going to do a very quick mini review of Dune Part 2. We don't need to know. We don't need to give you guys the plot summary. There's spice out there. There's the Harkonnen. There's people. There's Paul Atreides. Is he the second coming of just this godlike figure? Whatever, all that stuff. I remember the first time I saw Dune. I did a rewatch like you did, Bruce, last week. I liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars, and I thought it was too slow. Actually, on a rewatch, Dune wasn't too slow. I'm the one who was too slow on the uptake. I love Dune Part One, 5 stars like Bruce. Going into the movie on Friday, saw it. Yeah, one of the best movie going experiences in my life. Okay, I remember when my late father took me to Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then when I was able to see it with my Empire Strikes Back, if I recall, with my uncle and aunt way back in the day, and it shaped me as a kid watching those two amazing movies. Not a kid anymore. I'm in my early 50s, but I was taken back to how movies could actually transport me to pretty much another dimension, another time, another place. And I wasn't a kid anymore. I was an old man who felt like a kid upon watching Dune Part 2 because of how beautifully executed the visuals, the writing, the acting, the execution was. So that's my mini review. I think it's a perfect movie. On our CinemAddicts Facebook group, Jack Fitzpatrick is the lone voice in the crowd who was mentioning how boring he thought Dune Part 1 and Part 2 is. And thankfully, he didn't get too much blowback. People have different strokes for different folks. I think, Jack, I'm glad that you came out with that opinion of it. And I think it's a real small opinion. And I don't know. I don't really see many people not liking Dune Part 2. I'm glad that he actually expressed that because I like different opinions. Bruce, different opinion on Dune Part 2, or was it everything I just said? Just a perfect movie all around?
I think it's pretty much everything you just said. I agree. I took my oldest son to it. We went and watched it, and I loved it. It's funny. You talk about kind of going back to the excitement you had when you were, kid, seeing a big blockbuster of whatever sort. And I literally in the last couple of days have been looking up action figures for Dune 2. Like, why am I doing that? Do I need action figures at nearly 60 years old? I do not, but I'm looking at them. I don't know. So I guess I'm having a little bit of that same feeling. Um,
Yeah.
but along with just the spectacle and the amazing execution here, and I'll be really curious to hear Eric's take because I think the people who are seasoned with the books will have their own version of takes to it because obviously there's expectation versus adaptation and what they think of it. But not having that kind of investment in it, I love this the spectacle like you talked about. So well executed, so many great epic scenes and action scenes and just special effects that I mean, sure, a lot of it's probably green screen, but boy oh boy do they do a great job on not only making it seem real in that world, but also just executing action. You know how we talk about big action pieces, to execute them so they're not confusing messes like Transformer movies. This movie is a great example of how you execute those big epic scenes and still make them work and understandable. And then the last thing I'd put in this that I think is great is I think it works on various different levels. If you're going in for this kind of very heady, philosophical sci-fi, all about the nature, I'm going to kind of keep it vague, but all kind of about the nature of like hero worship and religious and political power and power corrupting or not corrupting, you can get all of that from this. But if you also want to go in and just see like a soap opera, over the top, bigger than life characters, huge moments that are kind of bombastic, you got that. If you want to see, I talked about it in one of my posts, some damn good costumes, you've got that too. Um, there's also weird moments, and once again, I won't talk about it specifically. But there's a moment where someone's wrestling some kind of a creature to make it give up something, and I was just like, "Holy crap, that's so weird!" And doesn't need to be in this movie. I mean, it probably is in the book, I'm assuming, but the fact that it's there, I appreciate that too. So, yeah, easy 5 stars for me.
Yeah, I mean, you've actually read the book years ago, Bruce. I haven't read the book at all.
Many years ago,
Many
yeah,
many years ago, but I mean, at least you still read it when you were a youth.
yeah.
I have not even touched that book at all, but I really love the character development on a cinematic level. Okay, so let's get to someone who's really in the know of this Dune universe. Eric Holmes, you're your mini review of Dune Part Two?
I liked it a lot. They left a lot out from the book. Like for instance, like Paul's mentat trainings, like not in there. Anything about Chome's really not. I can't remember if they mentioned it in the first one or not. I don't think so. But like that's like something they mentioned in the book, and it's kind of important because now that you've seen the second one, you know that like all the machinations that happen to get Paul where he is very important in the book, but they got the broad strokes right. They got the, main themes down, and it's kind of like they left out a lot, but I think the themes are there, and I think it still worked. If you're going to be nitpicky about, oh, I really wanted Doofer Howard to come back because he was in the books, it's like, oh, did you need it? Probably not. Like, not for what they're doing here. The broad strokes still work. What I'm really excited about, which is what was kind of made me bite my tongue a lot when the first one came out, was when the first one came out, there was a bunch of, another white savior movie. And I'm biting my tongue going, this is not that. Yes, it is. He's a white savior, blah, blah, blah. He's going in like, wait till the second one comes out, and sure enough, the second one comes out, and I have not heard any of that. So I think it kind of worked where it was going. For the people that are familiar with the story and familiar with the book, they know exactly what I'm talking about. The people that saw Dune 2 now know what I'm talking about. I don't know how far we want to go into spoilers. I don't
We
think we
do
want to
not want
go.
to go
Yeah.
far at all on that.
But I think the book, the gut punch at the end of the book was a lot stronger than the movie was. That said, the books or the movie still went there. I wish it would have went a little further, but I mean, judging by from what I hear of people that saw it, they're kind of getting what the whole point was, so that works. And yeah, I dig it. It's not like I Am Legend where I read I Am Legend, go, oh, this is so good, and then you watch the movie and it's like you messed everything. You completely missed the point of everything the book was trying to say. This, even though it skipped a bunch of stuff from the book, it didn't miss the point at all, and it
Right.
kept with the themes. And in fact, I think Cheney or Chani in the movie, I think her character is actually better in the movie than she is in the book.
Hmm.
Because
Very good.
and we would have to go into spoilers as to why, but there's some changes they made to her character in the movie that I think just work way better.
Okay.
She
So
she has
yeah,
the best reaction shot too to something late in the movie where
yeah.
she kind of goes like, "Oh hell, you didn't." It's like
All right, Dune Part Two. Look, Bruce coined it five-star classic. So for me, Dune Part Two is a five-star classic because as much as we're going to love so many films in this year, for me, it will be hard to top Dune Part Two, especially seeing it in the theater. I'm gonna buy the Blu-ray, whatever the 4K, whatever version. I'm all about it. It will be hard to top this movie as my number one film this year. Five-star classic for me. Bruce, your rating?
yeah, I think that's fair. I was thinking back on it. It's 5 stars easy, but honestly, yeah, I think it's a 5 star classic.
Yeah.
It's just going to get better, and it's already 5 stars. So yeah, I
It's
agree.
making you regress to your childhood, Bruce. That means five-star classic.
That's true.
Either that or you are suffering from onset dementia. So,
Could be that too. Could be that
okay,
too. Could be
maybe
both.
both.
Two things can be true. You've heard this before.
Okay, so five-star classics from me and Bruce. Eric, you're the reader, so you actually have a huge discerning level. What is your rating on Dune Part Two?
I kind of want to go 4.5 only because I wanted more ornithopters, and I still want an ornithopter. But yeah, it captured everything it needed to, and again, didn't have everything from the book, but it had all the important elements and wove them together nicely, and improved on some elements.
Okay, so 4.5 stars from Eric Holmes and five
Oh
star
no,
class.
oh no, we're going 5.
Oh, we're gonna go
Yeah,
five?
yeah. I'm
Okay.
just gonna imagine there were more ornithopters in it.
Okay. I love those ornithopters. They're very, very good. So, anyways, if you haven't seen Dune Part 2 in your local Cineplex, please do. It's just a great, grand experience. Now, I'm going to say this. The next movie we're going to review right now will not be as good as Dune Part 2 because the rest of this episode will be a come down, okay, to Dune Part 2. That said, there might be hidden values.